Hey guys, happy Tuesday and welcome back. I hope everyone is well rested after the 3 or 4 day long weekend. For me, it was a 4 day long weekend. I took Friday off. Of course, Friday was a phenomenal trading day, but that's just how it goes. Most likely, I probably would have gave back profits because I did the statistics on this new rule of not trading the day before a 3 day weekend. And in the last 2 years, I'm net negative. I'm net negative. So every time I trade that last day, if it's a Friday or if it's a Thursday before the 3 day weekend, I lose money. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm too excited. Maybe the markets are just always a little bit extra crazy, but somehow I just can't get into a flow state. And a little bit like today, I couldn't really get into a flow state again either, which is a little bit frustrating. I'm down $66 on the day, which is what it is. I use smaller size, so no matter what, it would have been not been a big green day or hopefully not been a big red day either. Although I started off down like $500 and I crawled out of that hole a little bit. But my problem was I was just never really able to jump into a ticker either earlier enough or later once it started picking up again because I would lack my conviction. I just don't have a lot of conviction right now, and that's why I'm sizing down to avoid myself losing or to avoid taking unnecessary losses. I did actually want to start off with my February calendar. So February's been going pretty smooth overall. It's just we haven't had any really big days. I think our biggest day right here is $670. So it's a big confirmation that I'm just using really, really small size. I would like to be doing over $10,000 per trade, and right now I'm on average, let me actually check here. I think it's around like $4,000, maybe even less. Average position cost here is actually $6,100. Actually, so it's more than I thought, but it's still far below what I would ideally want, almost half of what I ideally want. And really actually what I ideally want is like $20,000+. But there's no way I'm going to start sizing up right now into this market where I just have little flow, little conviction, and we're just not getting a lot of great movers. On Thursday and Friday, we had a lot of interesting plays starting kind of midday, and usually by then I'm not really trading. I mean, right now it's 11:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm never trading this late, which is already kind of really unorthodox for me. Always my best trading was like pre-market from 7 to 8. That's where I would make all my money. You could watch my monthly recaps, and then pretty much like I would either make a little bit more or give back some profits. But everything has changed, so I have to work on being flexible right now and getting kind of back into a groove, and hopefully we're going to get into one again. I mean, it's just a matter of time, and I think until that happens, the most important thing is just making sure you don't trip over yourself, take unnecessary losses, so on and so forth. So let me just go ahead and talk about these tickers. I think the most interesting is INDO, and I think there's still some action left into it, so I'll focus on that one. But before, let's just go really quickly through these other tickers, and let's just start with NVCT. And NVCT, man, this ticker just put me in a hole unnecessarily. So that's a bit unfortunate. Luckily, I use small size, so that's good. It's a recent IPO. 13 million shares outstanding, 81 million market cap, pharmaceutical company with some catalysts coming out. Now, if you go to the 5-minute, this ticker all of a sudden gets really kind of ugly here. We get a lot of these pops to the upside that don't ever hold, and that was really my problem with this ticker. Ooh, and coin is selling off. I actually want to watch this one. I want to start sizing into it a little bit more. I love the overall low price on coin, and I'm definitely going to be waiting for an entry here. I think it still has some more downside potential, but I'm doing a little bit of intraday trading where it has these big sell-offs and I sell into the pops. I'm going to continue doing that until I feel really comfortable getting a good size on it, which would probably be closer to 170 or so. I think right now coin has a great valuation. So this is a swing trade I'm entering into. But again, if we get these premature pops to the upside, I'm going to be closing this position. Like you see, very, very small position size. And I would love to get a 60, 90, maybe even 100 share position size on this one as we get closer to 175. Right now I'm just starting to slowly accumulate into it. And I'll move this into my swing trade group. Yeah, so like I was saying with NVCT, pops to the upside that don't hold. And that was my problem with this ticker. Now, if we go to the 1 minute and see how I actually end up trading this ticker, I'll give you a really good idea how the price action has really just been tough for me. And right now, my trades aren't showing up. So if this ever happens to you, if you just go and reload your charts, sometimes it works. Let's go to NVCT again, NVCT, and let's see if it shows up. No, unfortunately, it is not showing up. That's fine. I remember where they were. So my first trade on NVCT was pre-market. After this move, I bought in this pullback here and took profits really quickly. It was more or less a scratch. I didn't really make that much money off of it. It was a small, tiny win. And then at the market open, I was watching NVCT. It was kind of one of my top picks. It had this nice sell-off here after this fake out to the upside, and I started accumulating into this green pop. And this is where I don't want to blame TOS, but I had some TOS issues, which definitely cemented this red trade for me, where I entered here and then TOS started lagging, really started skipping like 5 seconds, it froze, and then it continued again. And this was annoying. So I started trying to get out in this area. So I was up like 2% at one point, and as I was trying to get out, because I couldn't really see what was going on, it flushed right here, really heavy, 7% or so, and I started getting out into these little green candles. And that was really annoying because I was like, I had the right idea. I mean, who knows, maybe I would have got stuck in this flush either way, which is totally fine, but at least that would have been my decision. So it was kind of annoying that, boom, TOS issues, got stuck in a flush, you know, Tuesday morning, all right, let's go, we're down 290 because of that. Yeah, a little bit annoying. So anyway, NVCT at this point was a little bit dead to me because we're on the backside overall and it's flushy and it's just not a ticker that I really like. So I'm looking around, IMPP pops up and I'm like, all right, here we go. This ticker has some potential. Let's go on the 5-minute first and talk about how this ticker looks. Overall, nasty long-term chart, big backside move, but it's an oil and gas company and there's no catalyst. So it looks like it's more of a macro play here. So you got to keep that in mind. 61 shares outstanding and a 44 million market cap. So you have to give this ticker a little bit of credibility just because it is a macro play, probably has some sympathy catalyst behind it in that regard. And on the 5-minute, it actually doesn't look too bad and it's up around 70% or so. I want you guys to focus on this red line though. Let's go back to the daily and zoom in here a little bit. If we see after this big sell-off here, we had one of our last major crashes right around here at 0.833, and then we had 1, 2, and almost 3 days of retest to try to break back above this area. And that's why I went ahead and noted this area, because I felt like it was quite a significant price target, and that's exactly what we reached today. Now on the 1 minute, the problem is I was late to the party here. I was just finishing up with NVCT and I missed this pullback and this pullback, two really nice pullbacks, and I went for the third pullback, this one, which actually ended up working really well. The problem was, as I start taking profits, I was waiting for a proper breakout to take profits, and then look at this, it flushed right away. I start buying back a little bit more, it flushes again, and then I close my position. And I'm like, oh my God, come on. Like, I was just digging myself out of the hole, and then this happens, and I'm just kind of annoyed. I do a little bit of support trade right here off of VWAP, and I get this nice pop, which is pretty nice. I didn't expect this whole entire move. And then I do this move, which was actually pretty good. It looks bad, but it was actually good. I bought somewhere here near the perfect low. Yeah, 0.76. I mean, even lower. I bought it like really nice. Popped up really quick, and I took some profits really fast. So that was a good little trade. But yeah, this ticker was pretty much dead after that. And I don't know, tough, like really tough trading environment for sure. Eventually Hook came up. This was like one of the last tickers that I actually traded, and then I went back and forth on trading INDO. That'll be the focus. But let's quickly finish up with Hook. Go to the daily, and this is also a nasty daily backside pattern. Biotech, 30 million shares outstanding, 82 million market cap. Pretty nice, kind of in the wheelhouse that we're usually looking for, but maybe a little bit on the larger side. And it's also a multi-day runner with big resistance right around $3. So big red flags for sure on Hook. And we've traded this ticker in the past, and it was just a really shaky ticker, but it did make this really nice stare here. It popped up around 82%, pulled back around 20%, and now it's back up around 60%. So kind of an interesting multi-day pattern here for sure. And I wasn't really looking at it initially. So it had a really nice clean 20% front side move here. And this was kind of upsetting because I missed this move. So again, I was just kind of like not in the flow state. I was trading the tickers that weren't really doing that well. I was pivoting to other tickers. By the time I pivoted, those tickers were done. So I hate when I'm in those kind of situations, but you know, every now and then it happens and you really can't beat yourself up for it. I'm just happy that at first I was using smaller size, and I kind of continue to use smaller size, so I never really put myself too much in a hole. So I think that was important, but as frustrating to miss all these good moves. So with Hook, and let's zoom in on the 5 minute, or at least adjusted properly so you guys can see what's going on. Great 5-minute breakout here over VWAP and the 9 EMA, and then we have this great pullback, this 1-minute pullback, and this is right in this area. Look at that. If you just nail this pullback, that's a 10% move. Obviously, I would have never got 10%, but even if we got just a chunk of that, if it's 3, 4, 5%, this is a perfect frontside move. Again, I missed that because I was trading NVCT and then I was trading IMPP. So kind of frustrating there, just looking at the wrong ticker. Again, another really good flag, 5-minute setup, nice flag, 1-minute setup, breaks out again, 6% here. Eventually, lo and behold, I finally make it to the party and I do a little bit of trading here. In this area, I was only scalping because I knew I was late to the party. So I was like, I'm not going to look for another breakout. I'm just going to scalp it a little bit and then I'm going to walk away. I think I played that really well because that's exactly what ended up being profitable. And then walking away was the right decision because this flush in total was, 11%. And then just in that 1-minute candle right here, like 5-6%. So pretty nasty. And yeah, late to the party again. Really, really frustrating. Now, finally, INDO. I did trade this one initially once or twice, but I was late to the party on this one, and then I stopped trading it, and then I've made most of my money actually in this area. But let's look at how this ticker played out. And I guess, like always, let's quickly start on the daily to get some perspective on this ticker. The problem with INDO is the fact that it's always popping to the upside and then flushing. So it's a ticker you want to be very cautious of, and usually it's dying down by like 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if we zoom in here a little bit more, you'll notice that 8.8 is significant, 7.5, and also $6. And it's always important to draw these lines from way back. So I like to see, okay, here we have a open and a big sell-off. Here we have a bunch of retests, and here we have a bunch of retests as well. So $9 is really significant. Here's a bit of a pivot zone. You can see we're kind of crawling around these zones. It was support, it was resistance, it was resistance, it was a fake out, it was support and resistance, fake out, support and resistance, so on and so forth. I don't have to repeat myself. You kind of get the trend. So I like to map these zones out, and they were pretty helpful. Also, let's quickly look at the stats here. It's an oil and gas, so another macro play here. 7.5 million shares outstanding and a 62 million market cap. Okay. Let's say a squeeze candidate catalyst that popped out a few days ago, but it's really a macro play based on what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. So let's quickly go to the 5-minute and see how these support and resistance zones held out. And you could really see how this ticker was like not my kind of trading. I mean, if you know me and you've been following this channel even a little bit, you probably understand like Halts and all that stuff is really not my thing. And this ticker is only up like 30% here and then gave it all back. So I really did not think INDO was going to be so interesting at first. I should have been probably paying more attention to the oil and gas part. Anyway, it opens up here and then gets halted. And I'm like, ooh, sketchy stuff with Halts. I don't do so well around them, but let's see what happens. It opens up, sells off, and I start accumulating to this area. The sell-off was more than I wanted. Volume was fading, and I just closed this one for a small loss. And I was like, I guess that's, pretty much done at this point. Now, popped up here again, made a ranging pullback, and ranging pullbacks to me are like the biggest red flag. I try to avoid them like the plague, and there's usually a really good reason for that. Now, this is like one of the few times it actually ended up holding its highs, and in this area, I should have got aggressive on it, because ranging pullbacks, like I said, they usually do continue selling off, and they're pretty nasty, and if you look to the left on this ticker, it had a flush here, so this was just a ticker you want to usually avoid at all costs, or at least a pattern. Now, it did end up crawling back up, so once it started holding its highs here in this area, that would have been the place where I should have pivoted, but I was already butthurt at this point, and I just couldn't. I was lacking the conviction. Has a huge breakout, continues moving up, and that was a 15% run. And this is where I made my mistake. I didn't buy off the $6 zone, which was that critical support zone we were talking about earlier, support and resistance zone. And then at this point, I decide, you know what, I'm messing up. I need to just trade with small size. It doesn't matter if I win or lose on it. I just need to get into the trading habit again, because right now I'm sitting on the sideline with fear, and as a momentum day trader, it's just, that's really a bad thing to do, because what that forces upon you is a mindset of sitting on the sidelines. Then you get nervous, then you get FOMO, and then eventually you start sizing in way late, and then you get stuck in another flash. So as a momentum day trader like myself, I have to keep trading at least with small size, just to keep myself in the habit of trading. Otherwise, it usually has negative consequences later. So I do a little bit of scalp trading here, taking small profits and stuff. I knew this ticker, I was just never going to be that green on, because I was already late to the party and I just wasn't in a flow state, but I at least wanted to get comfortable around trading Halts. And that's why I was trading small size here. Did make some small wins, but overall it was never enough to move the needle. And I knew that, which I was fine with. I just needed to be trading, because if I didn't trade this, I guarantee you I would have, jumped into a fake out breakout here and lost a bunch of money. That's what happens when I don't trade, because I get FOMO, because I miss the move I should have traded. Now, At this point, I was pretty much getting ready to make the recap video, and then this ticker popped out again, and I was like, oh, let's go. It's back on the front side. Let's try to trade it because I mapped out these support and resistance zones, and I think we might have room to run to like $9 or so. So that was the point I was looking for. Now let's go back on the 1 minute. I buy this pullback here, pops up again. Notice I'm trading small size. That's fine. Pulls back here. I try to trade this one looking for that move back to 877, which actually happens. I just take profits a little bit too soon, but I kind of do all right here. Make like $200-300. Another trade here. I'm looking for that reversal. It doesn't happen, but I'm keeping an eye on the 5 minute. I'm like, this 5 minute doesn't look that bad. There's big support here around like 7-9 or so. So that's why I was getting kind of aggressive in this area. But it just never really makes it. But I always take profits quickly, cut my losses quickly. So this whole downtrend, I actually end up making money on. It just was never enough. And then finally, I cut my final size here before the reversal. So just one little moment too soon, but that's fine. This ticker was getting risky, and sometimes you start having this feeling where like, ooh, I'm starting to overtrade a little bit. I'm starting to size up more and more, and the setups are getting worse and worse. And this is oftentimes where you can start losing a lot of money. So at this point, I was pretty okay with walking away. And looking back, I don't really have any regrets because I know so many times where you start having FOMO, you finally start sizing up, and then all of a sudden you get stuck in these big flushes. And I've been there before. So I'm pretty happy that I walked away, and I'm only down $66 today, which isn't really a bad day. I mean, it's kind of like a Monday today. It's my first trading day back after 4 days. Wasn't really that many great opportunities. I mean, I definitely could have made some profits today, but I was always late to the party. So I'll take a small red day, pretty much a scratch day, any day over a serious red day. And I think I did some pretty bad trading overall. I mean, I could have done so much better. So I'm not so disappointed. I'm happy that I'm just kind of starting the week easy. It's terrifying out there in general, so it could always be much worse. One last thing I wanted to share, which I haven't talked about much. I posted in the Discord, and my brother really has been spearheading this project, is our FloridaMan NFT project, which is officially launching today. The mint date is February 22nd. The mint price is 0.33 SOL, and the total supply is 1845. And all those numbers stand for something. In this case, the 3rd of March, 1845, which is the date that Florida was added officially as a US state. This project really initially started about 2 months ago for my brother and I to learn about NFTs, how to mint them, how to create a site, how the backend works, so on and so forth. And I just logged in, and you can see that we only have 433 supply left remaining. Our goal is to sell out today. We're going to be live streaming on my brother's channel. If we just scroll down here, that's really the team right now. My brother and I, plus Ryan, someone who's been part of Heiko's community for a really long time and just moved to Key Largo. So they've been working on the project quite a lot. So I've been posting a lot of Heiko's videos, my brother Heiko's videos, in our Trade Journal Discord, just to keep you guys up to date on this project. And if you're interested in learning more, definitely check out that live stream we'll be doing later today, I think around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This website will have a big update, I think, in the next few days. And we have the white paper out, which is in the Discord if you guys want to learn more about the project. And then we also have a Florida Man care package that's going to be launched, I think, on the live stream, which is going to be a bunch of Florida Man merch with a extra bonus that we'll talk about in the live stream later. So I just want to give it a little bit of a shout out. I know I haven't talked so much about NFTs and the Florida Man project on this channel. I've been so busy with the new interns, taxes, working on Trade Journal 24/7 or literally around the clock. But I think right now is such a good time to get into NFTs. The crypto market is in free fall, and maybe it's going to be finding support at one point. And a lot of the NFT projects that I like the most, like Pesky Penguins, for example, have already bottomed out, or at least it looks that way, because we hit a bottom and now we bounce back up and we're at new support. So I'm pretty bullish on the whole entire NFT market, even if we enter a bear phase like we did in 2020, because originally in 2018, 2019, NFTs for Ethereum were really spiking. So we already had a bear phase, and then we really came out of it end of 2020 and beginning 2021. And now we're kind of in that bear market again. So me personally, I've been acquiring NFTs across the board. And this is our NFT project to help us learn more about it and share it with the community. And that is really a collaboration between my brother's community and this one here. So in the next few weeks going forward, we're constantly going to be mentioning this project. And I'm going to start talking more about NFT projects again. Also, the big lessons we learned in the last few months, because there's been tons of lessons learned. So I can't wait to start ramping that up. I still got some taxes to finish, so until then, that's really where my priority's going. And I'm kind of waiting to get back into my Berlin office, my normal workflow a little bit. But I'm happy just to give you guys a quick little update on the latest latest progress here with the Florida Man NFTs and just NFTs and crypto in general. Remember, you can always check out my whole entire portfolio for NFTs and crypto here, as well as my swing trading, day trading, my 25K challenge, and so on and so forth. I think that's going to be all from my end. If you want to check out my swings and learn more about them, check out my portfolio here. I've been updating them quite a lot, and I just came out with a post talking about my swing trades and which tickers I'm looking for. There's a few with a high short interest and a high short ratio, basically the amount of time it would take shorts to cover, usually measured in days, and some are over 6 short ratios. So that's a really high number. So I'm definitely looking for some of these swing trades. I think the overall market is still going to keep selling off. I don't want to, start trying to predict macro, but I do think a lot of these high flyer meme stocks from Space, LMD, QS, Clove, so on and so forth, they're just so extended. We're talking about like 90% plus sold off. And we've been seeing some pops on them, 30, 40, 50%, even though there's no news or there's bad news, and they're still popping up. And I think a big reason is that anyone that's still long at this point is not selling. There's dip traders coming in, there's shorts getting squeezed, and it's a recipe for some really, really nice overnight profits. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm constantly managing my swing trades, but that's a whole different discussion that I can maybe save for a different video. But for now, thanks for tuning in, guys, and don't forget to drop a like on the way out. I really do appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you're new. We'd love to have you part of the channel, and like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.